Okay, again. All right. So a revision on investment holding company. So we have to decide whether the company is ISC or not, looking at the income of the company. All right. Number one is that main objective or main business must be investment holding. And then number two, that the income must be at least 80% from the investment income, meaning that section 4C and section 4D. So once you have that, then company is ISC, then you have to decide whether the company is a listed company or unlisted company. If the company is unlisted, then you have to follow section 60F. So 60F says that first you have to identify permitted expenses. Once you have identified the permitted expenses, so only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are permitted expenses, yeah? So normally permitted expenses ni expense and general expenses in order for the company to run the business. So other expenses, traveling, so depreciation, all these expenses are not permitted expenses. So once you have identified your permitted expenses, then you have to follow formula A, B over 4C, where A is the permitted expenses times by B. B is the income which is chargeable to tax. So it means that if you have income which is exempted, then you don't take that into account. Yeah. And then over 4C, C is all your income, including your realization from your investment. Is it something like that? Yeah. So if B over 4C. So that is what we call portion of permitted expenses. So once you have that, you have to compare with the 5% of your 5% of your 5% of C. Salah. 5% of B. Is
B.
it? B ke
Yes.
C?
B.
B. 5% of B, then whichever is lower, then that is the amount given as a deduction for your ISC. Yeah, so that means that it's very rigid, all right? And then the company only gets a very minimal deduction in arriving to chargeable income. So for tax planning, that's why we try not to put a company into an investment holding company, because the deduction is very restricted. Yeah, so that's why. But some companies but for other purpose, all right, company may want to be an investment holding company. All right, for example, if you involve in a lot of properties, right? You buy a lot of properties, so rather than just buy on your own, on your individual name, so might as well you form a company which is an investment holding company. So the income is assessed on the company rather than on the individual. So because you have a company, then there's a limited liability. Yeah, so it means that there's a difference between the owner as well as the company itself. So in that case, you want to have an investment holding company. Memang tak keluar muka I ke? You all nampak apa sekarang?
Nampak muka madam?
Nampak Zoom muka madam.
Okay, tak apa. Lagi apa Okay. So we have covered that on investment holding for unlisted company. So today we're going to continue with the listed company. Yeah. So there's a difference between listed and unlisted. As I mentioned, unlisted section 60F. Kalau listed company is a section 60FA. A tu maknanya ada amendment, maknanya is a new law that comes in. Alright, previously there's no such thing as different between, but now they come up with a 60FA. So if a company is a listed company, then the tax treatment is different. Yeah. So if you look at the public ruling that I have shared with you, alright, tadi I sebelum kelas pun I sempatlah tengok sekejap. Alright, sekejap invest sample 13, I said ada tengok semua ni. Okay, because remember that I said that I also not very good lah in the topic kan. I nak apa? What do I want in this life?
Tax treatment, madam.
Tax treatment kan? Okay, kat sini kan. Tapi I nak gambar I kat sini. Kalau I tak buat macam tu, I tak nampak gambar I. Sekejap I nak pin pun tak reti ni. Tak jumpa dah pin. Jumpa dah pin video. Okay.
Tapi kita orang nampak madam.
Okay, saya
Nampak
nampak
madam
kan?
dengan nampak slide.
Okay, alright. So let's go through the public ruling because I pun tak sure sangat. So if I'm wrong, please interrupt ya. Okay, so this is for the listed on the Bursa Malaysia. In order to determine whether a company is an ISC, paragraph 4, 5, 6 of this PR have to be referred to. So 4, 5, 6 2, where you have to identify ASC or not lah. Number 1 is the main business. Number 2 is the income must be 80% from the investment. Yeah. So that is on ISC. But once a company is determined ISC and is listed on the Bursa, the tax treatment explained now apply. So now you are looking at 60 FA. Okay. So remember that what you are referring now is not the Income Tax Act. Yeah, what you are referring to is the public ruling. All right. So public ruling number 9 ni, it refers to listed company, and this one refers to section 60 FA in the Income Tax Act. So don't get confused with that. All right. Any income derived from holding of investment, in this case interest, dividend, rental, non-business and business. Remember rental dulu kita ada section 4A and section 4D. So whether rental 4A or 4D, business or non-business, is treated as a business source. So everything is treated as a business source here. Yeah. So everything now becomes section 4A. That is for listed company. Nampak? Each source of income has to be assessed as separate business source. So you have income from your dividend, business 1. Income from interest, business 2. Income from rental, business 3. And business 4. So it's like that, one business source, yeah, for each, but everything is under section 4A. Even though those sources of income are treated as business source, in determining the adjusted income and statutory income of the ISC, the special treatment provided under 60 FA has to be complied with. All right, so it says that to determine the adjusted income, it says that, okay, remember that you have many sources of income now. For every item, dividend, interest, rental, yeah. No deduction on expenses is allowed if that source does not produce any income. So it means that, for example, in the case of dividend, kita kata is in Malaysia, dividend is a final or exempted. So in that case, there's no income dah kat dalam Taxcom. Yeah, so because of that, even though there are expenses related to the dividend income, no deduction is given. Yeah. And then the amount allowable deduction for direct expense is restricted to the amount of gross income from that source. So now later we'll see that under listed company, so their expenses are divided into two. One is what we call common expenses. The other one is direct expenses. Direct expenses are expenses directly related to the income. Common expenses are the common expenses, which is a portion to each source of income based on certain proportion. Yeah, normally it's based on the income itself lah. Berapa portion of income over total, then how much is the common expenses to be a portion to each income. So that one we look into that later. But here it says that if they say the amount of direct expenses is restricted to the gross income of that source. So katalah again dividend. You have final, so even though there's a direct expense related to dividend income, you cannot deduct any direct expenses for dividend because why? There's no source of income. Income ada, but it's exempted, so it's zero. So you cannot deduct your direct expenses here. And then you also have the similarly amount of allowable deduction for common expenses is restricted to the amount of gross income from that source for that year of assessment. Similarly, all right, we have common expenses. Dividend is exempt or final, then you cannot deduct any expenses against your dividend income. Yeah, in this case, we are referring to common expenses. And finally, all right, in determining your statutory income, remember statutory income is your adjusted income plus balancing charge minus capital allowance. All right, it can be the allowance can be allowed but restricted to the amount of adjusted income from that source. Again, if your adjusted income is nil, all right, so for example, dividend exempted, so adjusted income is nil lah. Yeah, so there's no, you can't deduct any more capital allowance lah, even though the company has a common capital allowance. So in this case, for listed company, you have direct expenses, you have common expenses, you also have common capital allowance. All right, so you're going to divide these common expenses and common capital allowance accordingly among the sources of income. But if the income is zero, you do not deduct. Or if the income is minimal, for example, your adjusted income is 100, but your capital allowance is 300, then you can only minus 100 lah, restricted. Yeah, That's how it means by. Okay. So again, let me stop sekejap. All right. So means that now you have your interest income. For example, interest income, kan? You can minus your direct expenses. Then you can minus common expenses in arriving to your adjusted income. Yeah, adjusted income, then you minus common capital allowance. If you have balancing charge, that kind of common balancing charge. Yeah, so this is the for listed company. All right, and all this is restricted to how much income that you have here. Right, if you have less, then less is restricted. That means that the direct expenses is depending on how much is your income here, and then your common has CA here also depends on how much is your adjusted income. Yeah, so that's what the paragraph are mentioning. Oi, cepat-cepat lari. Ada. Dah tak malu ni bawa mandi. Next is your, we'll continue with the public ruling. Example 12, we have Era Baru Berhad is an ISC listed on the Bursa Malaysia. Income expenses for 2014 are as follows. We have dividend, rental, and interest. Yeah, dividend is under single tier. Gross income is 400,000, and then you have interest expense 250,000. So when you look at the interest, whenever expenses is associated directly to the income, that is what we call direct expenses. Yeah. In this case, this interest expense directly related to the dividend is 250,000. And then interest is 200,000 income, interest expense 160,000, rental income is nil, but you have interest expense of 70,000. See, you see that later you see how the one we have discussed earlier will be applied. Interest expense is a direct expense and not common expense. And then you have now total gross income. How much is your gross income? 600,000. All right. Common expenses is given as 150,000. And then common capital allowance is 80,000. All right. But remember that under listed company, you cannot take this as a gross income. You have to identify every item separately. So you have to list out. Number one is that mana dividend income. Kat sini tak buat dividend income. Why? Because dividend income under single tier is a final. Alright, it's final, then you don't have any interest expense to be deducted. So there's no income from your dividend. Even your common expenses dividend will not be given out. Alright. Okay, now we have, for example, interest here. We have income of 200,000. So here is 200,000. Okay. And then minus direct expenses. In this case, your direct expenses for interest is 160,000. Tak ada. Tak ada. Tak ada. Ni letak kat lain, cari kat lain. Okay. What else tadi? Okay. Interest was 200,000, direct expense 160,000. But the common expenses, how much is the common expenses? Common expenses 150,000. So this 150,000, you are going to divide among the three income. Even though single is not, dividend is not computed here, but that will be also included in computing the common expenses or common capital allowance. It means that total income from here is 600,000. Yeah, 600,000. But common expense 150. So you're going to divide that among the three income. So for interest, income is 200 over 600,000 lah. Nampak? 200 is the income from the interest, 600 is the total income times by common expense 150. So from there you have 50,000. Okay, 160 plus 50 dah ada 210. Yeah, but your income is only 260. Your income is only 200,000. So for that, even though you have total interest income, total interest expense and common expense is 200,000, it's restricted to 200,000. So you can only minus 200,000. So the balance 10,000 ni is disregarded. You cannot carry forward ke nak set off against aggregate income. No, there's no such thing under listed company. Yeah, ISC listed company, whatever expenses which is not fully absorbed is disregarded. Yeah. So in this case, interest income, because of the expenses here, you have interest income, which is nil. Do you get that? Okay, yeah. Next is, oh, ada pula. Tadi adjusted income is nil kan? Adjusted income. Mana nama adjusted income? Tak nampak. Okay, this nil ni namanya adjusted income. And then capital allowance, even though you do have capital allowance, so 80,000 ni you can share lah. How you share means that based on the income 200 over 600 times by 80,000. But because your adjusted income is already nil, capital allowance is disregarded lah. Alright, 200,000 ni mean income from the interest over total income times by the capital allowance, common capital allowance. So you should get 26,667. But because adjusted income is nil, this one is disregarded. Yeah. Then you have a gross rental. Gross rental, how much is the rental income? Nil. Yeah, rental income is nil. It means that even though you have expenses, 70,000 is not deductible, is disregarded. And the common expenses is disregarded. Similarly, for the capital allowance is also disregarded. Yeah. So that is for your rental. So nampak je jadi nil. Everything is disregarded. Gross dividend, I mentioned just now because this one is all disregarded lah. Alright, even though you do have interest expense, or even though you do have capital allowance, it's all disregarded. Kenapa dekat gross rental tak ada capital allowance ya? Common capital allowance. Kenapa dia tak tunjuk capital allowance? Any idea why is it not shown there? Capital allowance.
Maybe sebab dekat income dia dah nil, so dia tak kira.
Tapi kat sini gross dividend pun ni, oh maybe lah.
Madam, lagi satu capital allowance ni kita tolak kan kalau ada amount lebih.
Agak-agaknya dia tolak ke? It should be in English, okay? We have a foreigner in our class. Please stop me if I speak Malay. And you also have to speak English because we have Senwani. Is it Senwani? How do you spell it? How do I pronounce your name? Senwan. Is it Senwan? Senwani. Something like that. Yeah? Okay. So this is disregarded, yeah? I do not know why rental income, it doesn't show the capital allowance lah. But as you say that because this one is nil, alright, tapi dividend tadi pun nil juga. Okay, tak apa, it's okay, yeah? But you know that if it means that if the income is nil or minimal, then the expenses and the capital allowance is restricted, okay? The excess of interest and common expenses amounting to that is disregarded, okay? Cannot be absorbed, disregarded, cannot be absorbed by any source and cannot be carried forward, yeah? So it's just finished like that. Capital allowance which cannot be absorbed by dividend source, cannot be carried forward also, yeah? If in a year of assessment, an ISC listed on the Bursa carries on a business activity which is not as the main activity, any adjusted loss from that business source will be given the normal treatment in accordance with the provision of subsection 43-44(2). Therefore, the adjusted loss from that business source for a year can be deducted against the aggregate income for that year of assessment. Any excess cannot be absorbed, any excess of the adjusted loss that cannot be absorbed can be carried forward and deducted against the aggregate income. So, siapa faham? Who understand this? It's 9.4. Anyone? 9.4. What do you understand by that? Okay. So what it says is that if the ISC has another business income, all right? So of course you have your dividend, you have your interest, you have your rental, which is all these are under section 4A. Why is it under section 4A? Because the company is a listed company. But if the company also have a business income, right? So what happened that if all this dividend income, or all these dividend interest, and then you have your direct expenses, you have your common expenses, and then you have your capital allowance. If unabsorbed, then it's done, right? You cannot carry forward, right? Any unabsorbed is disregarded. But we come to business income here, right? If the company have a business income under section 4A, All right, if the company having a current year loss, then the treatment is like normal losses. So it means that if you have a current year loss, the losses can be set off against your aggregate income. And if it's not fully absorbed, you can carry forward to following year to be set off against your statutory income. Yeah, so that is for investment holding company for a listed company. Yeah, so it means that a business income, if you have a business income having losses, the losses can be set off against aggregate income. And if not fully absorbed, it can carry forward to the following year to be set off against your statutory income. But in the case of dividend, interest, and rental, even though it's assessed under Section 4A, any unabsorbed direct expenses, any unabsorbed common expenses, and capital allowance cannot be carried forward. Yeah, you cannot use that to set off against other income or any other aggregate income. All right, it's a permanent loss. So again, that's the advantage lah of having income as having a business as a ISC. Yeah. So I hope that you understand that part. What else do we have here? Okay. That is done. Example here, investment linked Berhad is an ISC listed in Bursa. Income received incurred are as follows. You have management fees, dividend, and interest. Yeah. So management fee is 200,000, dividend is 1 million, interest is 300. Then you have the respective direct expenses. Total gross income is 1.5 million, common expenses is 250,000, common capital allowance is 200,000. So now you have management fees. So management fees is under, previously we say that management fee is under section 4F under unlisted company. Yeah, under unlisted management fees and under section 4F. But because company is ISC listed in Bursa, the management fees is also becoming a section 4A. Yeah. So the total income from gross management fee is 200,000. Direct expenses, again, how much the direct? Direct expenses is management fee 350,000. But because management fee 350,000, and then you have common expenses, which is your common is 250,000, then means that management 200 over 1.5. Yeah, 200 is the fee income from the management fee, 1.5 is the total income. All right, so this one is the apportionment of your common expenses, and then you have 33. But remember that total here you have 383, but because income is 200,000 only, then it's restricted. Yeah, so you compare 200 dengan 383,333, you see that the income is smaller. So the expenses is restricted to 100,000 only, as that you have a nil capital allowance, then you have current year business loss. Yeah. So in this case, all right, remember that the management fee is an income under section 4A. So other than investment holding income, other income kalau ada losses ini, later you can use the losses. You can, means that it become current year loss lah. Yeah, current year business losses. Allowance is disregarded because kat sini adjusted income is nil. And then you have gross interest. Similarly, you have gross interest and then direct expenses, common expenses. Again, in this case, all right, the total expenses here is only 200,000. So adjusted income is 200,000. Salah. The adjusted income is 100,000. Again, gross interest is 300,000. All right, direct expenses and common expenses total 200,000. Then you have adjusted income from interest is 100,000 minus common capital allowance. In this case, because you have sufficient adjusted income, then you can absorb the common CA of 40,000. Yeah. Remember how to compute your common capital allowance. 300 is the income from the interest. 1.5 million is the total income of the company, and then 200 is the common capital allowance. So you apportion, then you get 40,000. 100,000 adjusted income minus capital allowance of 40, then you have statutory income of 60,000. Gross dividend is exempted, remember, it's single tier, so everything is nil, disregarded. So in this case, you have a nil adjusted income. Okay. What in this case, this one is
Madam, do we still need to show the calculation for the direct expense and CA? Because the income already exempted, right?
Kalau I Kalau in this case dividend ni you boleh telah final exempted terus, then you may not have to show me this one. Right? But kalau yang untuk the other income, you have to show me because it's not fully, dia bukannya zero kat sini. Then you have to show me the workings of your direct expenses and your common expenses. Especially common kat sini lah. How you derive to 50,000. Can you do that?
Okay, then. Okay.
Okay, so now you have aggregate income which come from your number one management fees. Tadi nil kan, adjusted income nil, tapi you ada current year loss. And then the other one you have interest income of 60,000. Dividend is exempted. So in this case, your aggregate income is 60,000. And remember that 183 ni daripada mana? Where does it come?
Loss. Current year
loss from
business loss.
Kan? So but you have 183, you only absorb 60,000. So the balance 123 ni you carry forward to next year. So next year jadi apa?
Business brought forward.
Business brought forward to be set off against aggregate statutory income. Yeah. And then you have capital allowance amounting to 26 can be absorbed, cannot be absorbed. Sekejap ya. Siapa call? Recording. Okay. Okay, this one capital allowance 26 ni bermana? Cannot be absorbed by the management fees and current year. Okay. In the case of capital allowance, management fees just now, we have capital allowance kan? This one 2667 pun you boleh carry forward. Alright, because it doesn't fall into your investment punya income. This one is a business income. So wherever your business income from your ISC here, alright, the loss can be set off against aggregate income and can be carried forward. And capital allowance can also be carried forward to the following year. Yeah. Alright, example 14 here we have Resah Jaya, ISC listed on the Bursa. And then gross income, management fees and interest, total gross income is 250, common expenses is 40,000. All right, total income result for the year is like this. Gross management fee 50,000. Common expenses is 40, means that 50 over 250 times by 40,000. You get 8,000. So total here in expenses is 18,000. So you have adjusted income of 32,000. Are you following?
Yes, madam.
All right, and then gross interest we have 200,000, direct expenses 220. So nampak kat sini, direct expenses dah 120, common expenses 32,000. So total dia ada 252,000 total expenses. But it's restricted to 200,000 because why income is, you kena tengok income dia 200,000 je. Right, because of that your adjusted income is nil. But here you have current year loss 52,000, but because the loss is from interest, you cannot use to set off against your aggregate income. You cannot carry forward the losses. Yeah. So aggregate income in this case is only 32,000. So you cannot less lah, minus 52,000 kan, tak ada, no such thing. Yeah. All right. For the purpose of 60 FA, if an ISC is listed on the Bursa for any period in the basis period, that ISC is deemed to be an ISC in the basis period for that year of assessment. What it means is that Ganda World is an ISC on 1st January, effective from 1st August 2014, yeah, which is few years after that, the company was not listed in the Bursa due to certain reasons. The company closed account 31st December. So it says that here, although the company was not listed in Bursa from 1st August 2014, the company is still considered as ISC for the year 2014. Alright, Section 60 FA is applicable to the company for that year of assessment. So in this case, you remember that even though company is given, may not be a listed company during the year, but for that year, before that, kalau before that dia ada ISC, the whole year tu, alright, in the case, for example, year 2014, from 1st August is no longer a listed company, but for YA 2014, the company is deemed to be ISC under listed company. So you have to follow section 60F. But year end in this case, Dangwangi. Okay, Dangwangi closed account 31st December, but listed on 1st. Now, this is the first year that listed as 2014. 1st September 2014. So although the company was only listed on 1st September 2014, the company is considered as listed for YA 2014 and Section 60FA is applicable. So in this case, it's always a downside for the company lah. All right. Means that kalau during the year, for example, the earlier example, you cease to be ISC, you still treated as ISC for the year. But even if you become ISC on 31st of December 2014, you still become ISC for 2014. So in this case, it's for September. Yeah, katalah worst case scenario become listed on 30th of December. All right, so the whole year you are ISC. Yeah, so that's how is the treatment lah according to the law. What about the CA and IBA? Given whether or not rental income from letting property is a business source or not, it will be given lah. Okay, where rental income from business or holding or investment derived by a company from its building is treated as a business source and capital allowance claim, the company is not eligible for CA in respect of its plant machinery in that year unless the ISC is listed in the Bursa Malaysia. Yeah. So remember that if your company, your income is a section 4D, there's no CA. But because of the it being a listed company, then you boleh it become 4A, then you can claim capital allowance. Yeah. All right, but here is interesting that the company is still eligible to claim industrial building allowance on its building provided the tenant uses the building as industrial building. Remember in terms of IBA, if you have a building, all right, you can claim industrial building allowance provided that the tenant use the building as industrial building. And remember that the industrial building not only for manufacturing as a factory, but it can also be, for example, childcare center, it could be hospital, it could be a hotel. So there are so many definition of industrial building. So if the building is used by the tenant as an industrial building, then the owner can claim capital allowance on the building. Okay. Then we are done on ISC. So normally we can't say that okay, finance exam keluar listed ke unlisted, I can't tell you that. Yeah. But hoping for both lah. So that you can show me that you know both treatment, yeah, for listed and for unlisted company. So let's look at the tutorial question. So far, any question before we go into tutorial? Rasa dah terror lah. Right, so ISC is easier as compared to, listed is easier than unlisted because unlisted you can identify permitted expenses, then you can buat A times by B over 4C, then 5% of B, and then you can compute everything, yeah. So that is more challenging. So let's see the tutorial question. Do you have your tutorial question? Ada kan dalam tu? Okay. Actually, the example of this tutorial question is all from professional exam, but I can't tell you which exam. Masya Allah. Nak buat apa tu lah sini? Mama nak jual kat sepeda mama. Come. Baring di sini. Okay. Stop sekejap. Recording. Now we look into the question again. All right. So professional exam. All right. We do also have question on investment holding company. Right. But it's okay. Of course, your professional exam. We're talking about ACCA, MIPA. For tax paper, this topic is included. But it doesn't mean that this topic will come out every year. It's not like corporate tax. Yeah, corporate tax means question on company to determine the chargeable income. So that one every year definitely will have one question. But ISC, it depends. All right, sometimes you have the topic in the exam, sometimes you don't. All right, so but you must know lah, because if you don't prepare and suddenly the question comes out. All right, because in the professional paper, the long list. All right, at least our paper, I tell you, okay, final exam, these are the question topic masuk kan. But in the professional exam, you wouldn't know unless the teacher have some leakages lah. Huh? All right. So I don't leak my question. Okay, so the question number 1 is MJ Holding. Alright, so in this case, single tier and then kalau you nampak kat sini, Sdn Berhad, then you know that the company is already unlisted. Yeah, kalau listed, it must be Berhad. And it must mention that the company is a listed company. Profit and loss account, you have income, gain from realization. So in this case, you must compute your permitted expenses. Right, so you have to identify from here which one is your permitted expenses. Baru 40 minutes Ada lagi 40 minutes. Single tier dividend will receive from investment. Okay, and then question number 2, Merengah Holdings. Again is a Sdn Berhad. Merengah Holdings Berhad is a tax resident, but is it a public listed or unpublic listed? Determine whether Merengah Holding is an investment holding. Compute the tax payable of Merengah Holding Berhad, assuming it's not a listed company, and compute if it is a listed company. Okay, I like the question. But how to decide on the common expenses? Could be the common expenses, could common expenses be permitted expenses? I think so. So you nak buat question number 1 ke number 2?
2, madam.
Okay, okay,
Two.
number 2 buatlah.
Nak buat mana listed ni ke?
Mula buatlah satu tu, you kena buat unlisted dulu. And
Okay.
then baru buat listed. Okay, buat
Per
unlisted.
minute ada?
So I think that the common expenses is the permitted expenses right? It's the same. The common expenses in this case, the same as your permitted expenses, the item lah. Yeah.
Madam, so if the permitted expenses is the common expense, so the direct expense is the remaining?
No. Direct expenses yang clearly mention that okay, this expense is related to that income.
Oh,
That
I
is direct
see.
expenses. Contohnya, even in your unlisted, you may have direct expenses juga. Remember last time kita buat interest expense?
Like interest expense and interest income.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That one is direct expenses. So I mean that direct expenses is the same lah. The concept is the same as in whether it's a listed or unlisted. But common expenses, I can say that common expenses is the same as your permitted expenses. It's just that the treatment is different. Under listed, the common expenses tu you kena kira identify A, B, C tu. Alright, and then 5% of your B. But under listed, whatever common, you just apportion accordingly depending on the total income. Okay. Alright. So nak buat macam mana ni? Number 1 is the company ISC, then you have to show me lah how to compute whether the company is ISC or not. You have to show the workings, okay? So it means that now you want to take into account the tax chargeable, yeah? What is, how much is the chargeable? Chargeable is 203,000 je kan? Okay, go back. Where's your formula? For ISC. You order no time. You have the notes. Okay, may not less than. Okay, then you want to compute. Okay, nampak sini. Management fees in this case. But what if you have a gain on realization? Tak ada dah pula. Would you take into account the dividend? In order for you to compute the 80%,
Yep, dividend plus interest, right?
kan? Ambil semua tu kan?
Then divide by the total income.
Total tu total pada mana?
Income campur dengan management tu.
Gain tu kira ke?
Good.
Tak.
Sebab dia because dia section 4F, right?
Tapi
The total up.
no. Kat sini, gain on sale of investment is not 4F yo. This
Correct.
one
Means that the total income.
is non-taxable income. It's capital gain. Gain on sale of investment. Dia macam realization of your investment tu. So sekarang ni, you nak ambil 2375 plus 203 ke? Over 2596. Tu yang tak sure tu. Ada tak example dia yang realization tu? Tak ada lah pula. Tax treatment. Tax expenses. Oh, okay. I rasa yang realization tu, nampak ni. Gains on realization of investment ni. Alamak, komazet. Banyak pula jadi. Tak nak ni. Tak nak lu. Alright, gain from realization ni is when you compute your permanent expenses. Alright, so you're going to use that in order for you to compute B ke C hari tu. C rasa. Ya, tengok A, B distribution, C dia akan masuk gains from realization. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Tapi for you to determine ISC, you only ambil income. Section 4C and section 4D. So in this case, income
100%.
100% lah. We are talking only these two lah. Kan? 2375 plus 203 over 100% lah.
2578.
Whatever lah. Yeah. Means that this one company is 100% income is from investment holding. Gain on investment is not for F, yeah, it's a capital gain. But you're going to use this when you compute your C later. Okay. All right. So once company is IIC, why? Because so you have to show me the computation. Then you have to tell me, okay, company IIC because more than 80% of its income comes from investment income. Yeah. All right. Number 2, determine what is your permitted expenses. All right. In order for you to do B, all right. So what is your permitted expenses? Any idea which one is your permitted expenses? I would say that permitted expenses is audit fees,
Salary.
Salaries.
Director fee. General expense.
Director fees, yeah. General expense, no.
No.
Postage and courier.
Postage and courier, yes.
Printing.
Yes. Secretarial fees,
Yes.
Yes.
Telephone and telefax.
and fax, yes. Traveling, no kan?
No.
Okay.
No.
Indirect expense, no. Number 3 means that is a direct expense. Yeah, so later you're going to allocate the expenses to your income for the direct expenses. So this one, direct expenses. So later you're going to compute that. All right, so what is your permitted expenses? Sure, general expense tak kan? Dia ada list kan, permitted expenses. Permitted expenses, director fees, wages, salary, management fees, secretarial, audit, accounting, general expenses tak ada. Rental boleh. Okay, ingat tu. Alright, so now what is your, okay, you tell me what is your PE?
20232.
Berapa?
20232.
20232 PE, ya. So what is your A times by B over 4C? What is B? What is B? A equals to
Interest income.
interest income je lah.
2.
232 times by, because you nak ambil yang chargeable only kan?
Yep.
Chargeable is only 203,000 over Then you campur lah. Termasuk gain or realization kan? What is your C?
2596.
2596.
You say 2596 lah.
Madam, yang gross income tu 2575 lah.
Sorry?
Gross income tu berapa total dia? 2575 lah. Is it correct?
78. Mana?
Tak nampak. What?
Gross income.
Gross income mana datang gross income?
Madam, B tu
B.
tu.
Ini.
2575 lah.
A, B, C ni ambil ni. What is A? A is your permitted expenses, right? B is your tax income chargeable to tax. So in this case, you only have interest income. Why
Madam,
dividend is final, so dia tak charge.
Madam.
Yes.
In the question, mention the interest, 3,000 of interest is from Singapore. So do we need to deduct the
Tolak
2,000?
3,000. Okay, boleh macam tu.
Okay.
Right? Tapi dekat bawah ni dia kira semua 2596. Clear? Why is it
Clear.
minus 3,000? Because 3,000 is foreign source, it's not taxable lah. It's not chargeable. So we only, B ni is only income which is chargeable to tax. So any exempt dividend is excluded. So exempt means that the dividend and the foreign source income is excluded lah. So what else? So jadi berapa?
389. Great.
Macam mana nak kira? 200, 2596. Dia punya calculator boleh buat lah. Aku susah. 2596 times 4. 10384.
100.
Tak ingat dah.
I got 390.
90.
389, sama lah.
390.
389.68.
I dapat 10,034 times 4.
390 lah, easy.
41,536. Nak kira juga tu. 41,536. 200 over
0.038436.
536. Dah tak ingat dah. Darabkan dengan 20232. Ha? Berapa ni dapat?
389.67.
Buat 390 je lah. Boleh tak?
Boleh.
389 berapa tadi? 67.
68.
676. 68. But it's not 1,000. The point means 389 je.
Tapi 389,000 ke apa?
No.
389 ringgit.
But because divide by 00 tu.
20,000 ni.
Sebab
Sikit.
tolak 3,000 yang daripada B and C.
Ya. So mana this portion kan 4 times 2596. You buat tak 4?
Ya.
So you akan dapat 390.
396.
Yes, 390.
So pada
Because
2,000 ni jadi 390 ringgit je.
ya.
Pelik ke?
Itulah jawapan dia.
I tak percaya lah.
Dia boleh kira dah itu.
Tak kira. 2596 times 4. 10384 kan? Times 4. Itu dah.
10,384.
Aku lah kali
200.
times 4 dapat
200 times 10,384,000.
4 kan? So 200 over 10,384. Darabkan kan?
0.
It's actually about 2% je well. Out of that, 2% je you boleh ambil daripada pekerja. Padahal dapat 390 je. Persen dia orang. Nak buat macam mana? 232. Betul lah 390 lah. Kita ambil 390 lah. Okay, 390.
Okay.
Sekiannya. Daripada 20,000, 390 boleh jadi. Okay. What is 5% of B?
10,000.
200,000 kan? 10,000? Lepas tu dah ambil
10,000.
kan? Kan? So, alright. So now you know that the permitted, the portion of your permitted expenses is 390. So now you show your computation. The computation would be income from your dividend is exempted or final. Then you have interest income, ada two. One is from the income from Singapore, 3,000 is exempted. And then you have interest from subsidiary 200,000. Can you do that? Nampak tak ni?
The subsidiary tu dividend mana?
Ni ke? Mula interest ah. Interest from
But
subsidiary.
subsidiary dia tu dividend punya portion.
Dividend income from Marina.
Okay.
Dividend is the final dah.
Maksud
So
the
you
final tak ada tolak expense.
tak payah lah. Tak boleh lah. Dividend. Kalau you nak pecah dua, satu daripada Marina. Satu lagi pada. So this one is final. Final dah. So bila di final, you don't put it as an exempt because it's not exempt dividend. It's just a final dividend, right? So once it's a final means that any expenses directly related is non-deductible anymore. Then you have your interest. Interest. Then you have from Singapore. Today, exempt. Mak. Lepas
It's
tu,
3 o'clock.
the other one is from subsidiary. Subsidiary, you have 200,000. Right?
Oh.
200,000. Then minus. Okay lah.
Interest expense.
Tak ada. Direct expense dia apa? Interest expense.
Interest
So
expense ya.
interest expense is your direct minus direct expense. In this case, your interest. How much is that? Interest is 400,000 kan? But times by
1,500
Marina Hanat subsidiary 1.5
divided 9,000.
9,000, yes. You take that portion. So dapat berapa? 1,005,
6,667.
9,000 times by 400, 66.7. Boleh lah. Macam tu.
6,667.
Ini 6,
4 kali.
7 lah kan? Sebab dia thousands right?
Ayat.
Daripada 400,000 to 66,000 is for direct expense interest, yeah? For subsidiary. So this one is deducted, then you akan dapat net lah. Tolak.
1333.
Jadi 133,333. So
Yes.
that is your aggregate income kan? From aggregate income minus your permitted expenses. Portion, nama dia no longer, nama dia bukan permitted expenses, nama dia portion of permitted expenses sebenarnya. But normally dia orang akan letak permitted expenses which is how much?
390.
390. Kesian kat dia kan? So 390 then the balance is your chargeable income lah.
Capital income.
There's no such thing as approved donation ke, tak ada. Yeah. Right. So that is if a company is a listed company, but if the company is a unlisted company, but what if the company is a listed company? I think that it's still the same. Cumanya dekat interest kat sini, right? So sama dividend still is final, but interest from Singapore is exempted. Cumanya dekat subsidiary, interest from subsidiary, you akan ada apa? Interest from subsidiary, you akan ada 666
Direct income.
direct, and then you akan ada common expenses. Nampak? Kat sini ada common expenses. So how much you are going is the common expenses? You have to divide lah. How much berapa tadi permitted expenses? 20 tadi berapa?
23232. 232.
232.
232.
Then you darabkan dengan berapa income dia. Then you have to common expenses kan? So, total income berapa? How much your total income? Gross income.
203. 200,000.
Bukan. Total income. Income means that from dividend, interest. Berapa tadi kat atas tu lah? 2375 plus 203 tadi. It doesn't matter when means that total income.
2578.
2578. Interest maknanya berapa tadi? 200,000 kan? Betul tak?
Oh. Yes.
Macam tu lah. Alright, so for common expenses, you only apply that to interest from subsidiary. And how to compute, you have the common expenses, which is the permitted expenses, 2232 times by income from the interest, in this case subsidiary is 200,000, over total income, in this case from the dividend and the interest, which is 2,578,000. Then you get your common expenses for your interest from subsidiary. So that one is deducted here. How much you get here? Banyak sikit kan? 200 over 2578 darabkan dengan 2232.
1569. 70. 70.
5696 lah kan? Betul? So this is your common expenses lah. Nampak? So means that instead of you have 13333 minus, so means that the total income would be lower lah. Minus 15696. Do you get your chargeable income 117637?
Hero.
Ayo. Cepat. Tadi kan you dah dapat. You dah dapat tadi. Kat sini kan aggregate income 133 kan? For your unlisted. Cumanya untuk listed company you tak adalah kira dulu. You akan tolak direct expenses dan tolak common expenses. So common expenses 15696 kat sini. Nampak? So you tolak-tolak and then you akan dapat lah you punya chargeable income. So you tak adalah tolak permintaan expense 390 tu. Because now dah jadi common expense.
117.
So dapat apa?
117,637.
Yes, betul. So that will be your chargeable income if the company is a listed company, which is lower lah as compared to company which is unlisted. Same scenario, but listed company dia akan bayar lower tax liability because the law says so. So, maybe nak government encourage lah for AIC to go as a listed company. Nampak tak? So, that covers your investment holding company.
Tu ada company capital allowance sudah masukkan.
Oh, lupa. Lupa. Okay, tengok lagi sekali. Tak ingat lah tadi tak nak cakap.
Baru nampak.
Mana CA dia? Capital 30,000. Okay. Kalau unlisted tadi, unlisted you cannot claim capital allowance.
Yeah.
But now you have one more thing lah. Statutory income, adjusted income, which is the, how much tadi? 117,637 namanya adjusted income for listed company ya. Then minus capital allowance, common dia, common capital allowance is 30,000 times by apa?
200
over 2578. So you akan dapat statutory income of tadi adjusted income
327.
117,637. Okay. 200 over. Darabkan dengan 30,000. Tolak 117,637. Dapat berapa statutory income?
115,310.
115,310 boleh? Ada dekat-dekat tak?
Betul.
So that is your statutory income lah kan?
Yep.
Statutory income. You don't have any business income yang lain.
Statutory income je.
Dah tengah fikir. You don't have any other business income kan? So there's income jugalah.
Statutory income lah.
That is also your charge income.
Statutory income.
Tiba-tiba nak bagi soalan ada business income kat atas tu kan? Business income.
Ada soalan example.
Macam example balik ruling kan? Ada business loss, lepas tu you kena set off kat bawah tu. Okay. Which one yang susah? Investment holding. I pun baru belajar hari ni. Oh, Mek, jangan jatuh. Okay.
Madam nak tanya boleh?
Boleh?
Yang tadi board yang Madam tunjuk tu, Madam ada allocate common expenses betul? Yang 20232 darat 200 bahagi 2578. Ke saya yang
Ni
Madam allocate?
PE ni is also your common expenses.
Common expense.
So bila sebut pasal common expense,
Ha?
yang 20232 hanyalah permitted expense yang kita cover. Kita tak cover bank charges, general expense, legal
Tak,
fee.
sebab dalam public ruling dia tak bagi definition. Bank charges ada tak? Bank charges boleh patutnya.
Boleh? Masuk
Masuk kan?
PE tak masuk.
PE tak masuk?
PE masuk ke tak?
Tak.
Tak.
Betul ke? So macam masuk lah bank charges.
Tak.
Madam assume PE is equal to common expense.
PE, director's fee, bank charges tak ada Telephone charges ada. Statutory cost and postage. Okay, bank charges tak ada. So dia very strict lah dia punya permitted expense. So I assume that common expenses pun benda yang sama lah, permitted expenses juga. Cuma the treatment is different.
Maknanya bila tak categorize as permitted expenses, all of these things will be disregarded ke atau kita akan
Mana you talking about bank charges kat sini kan?
Common expense.
common expense.
Ya, sebab dalam public ruling pun dia tak bagi definition of common expenses tu. Unless ada dalam textbook. Ada tak dalam textbook common expenses?
Tak buka lah pula.
Kita cari dalam textbook ya. Public ruling. Alamak. Tak ada. I tak bagi textbook dia ke? Ni kejap cari dalam. Hold on, I pause tu.